jump into question three. And before I ask the question, I do want to frame it because when I ask what's your approach, that could be a very broad part of it. But what I love about your approach to life, as well as teaching, as well as being a student, and as well as being the designer and visionary of Moksha, the yoga board game, I remember you're the first person to ever say that asanas are you're making shapes with your body. And it simplified it in such a great way for my brain where I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making shapes with your body. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going into philosophical questions. We're going deeper into meaning of life, as well as ways to connect with community, a way to show up in the world and play a bigger game. So I love that each of us in these individual journeys and collective consciousness, we get to have our own viewpoints and approaches. So that was a little nugget that you gave me once. So I just want to, acknowledge that. Just I was like, yeah, that was cool. Like, okay. And it makes it more fun. Like we're all in like kindergarten, like let's make shapes with our bodies.
Yeah.
And it's also so many people that have been practicing yoga. Sometimes that's all they believe. And truly, like if you watch a commercial on TV and it's yoga, it's simply people in a yoga studio making shapes with their bodies. And there's, as you were speaking about earlier, the bandhas and all the other, getting the chakras and the doshas and the koshas, how is it that there's a broader approach? And obviously this came to life in Moksha, the yoga board game. So feel free to answer the question as you'd like. So what's unique about your approach?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I guess I'll tailgate or piggyback off of the comment of shapes. Shapes is a fun way to really get people to take less pressure in the sense of like when I hear the word pose, I think like posing for a camera, there's this kind of like Madonna thing. And when I hear posture, there's kind of this, I don't know, like old English energy of stiff and rigidity, and shapes are organic and soft. So I guess what I'd say, the short answer of what makes my classes and practices different than many is permission. The watercourse way of Taoism has really influenced my approach to life, and that there is a trust in ease and allowance, and that not everything, and not really most things, are gained by force or rigidity. So there's a degree of putting a lot of energy back into trusting your own intuition as a student and handing that back to them, which was theirs in the first place. So even when I say give permission, it's really not that I'm giving them permission. I don't have a right to give anyone permission. It's more that there's a reminder that people can do whatever they want, essentially. Like I don't teach yoga for people to obey what I'm saying, and I don't have all the answers. I definitely can't know what's best for anybody better than they can know for themselves. So there's this degree of suggestion and permission to remind people to give themselves permission is really what it is. And part of that seems like a mixture of me of the mundane and the profane, right? There's some degree of, like you mentioned, like with the chakra system, and we have this highly developed vehicle that we're blessed to be embodied in, that has the ability to find bliss in this life and make big changes for others. And at the same time, we're just mammals living our lives and doing our best. So there's a way to both really honor the sacredness of this practice, and at the same time not try to supercharge it with any airs of putting on postures or pretending that we're anything different than we are in the moment. And so it takes this mixture of really creating ritual and deep meaning in what we're doing, and also taking ourselves lightly. Like the Dalai Lama said, you're not going to make much progress on the path of spiritual growth and enlightenment without a sense of humor. So something about staying childlike and treating all of this like it's play and an experiment, and we're doing our best, and finding the non-attached joy in doing your best is something I try to pass on to students.
Yes, and we have some live comments on that. I love James's classes because he downsizes to the nuance backed by the science. And then someone else wrote, so freeing and allowing. And then humor. Yes, play all the way. Could be a bumper sticker. Play all the way.
Play all the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Permission's really huge, right? It's us remembering to trust ourselves and to trust that this vessel is made in divine image, and that it's something to lean into rather than something to subjugate and surpass, right? This is the aspect of the hatha practice. The aspect of tantra is that like everything is sacred and our body knows best.
Hmm. Absolutely.